Others? Do we have any students here today? Got students, guys. Anything you want to tell us about student government? I know she's not afraid to speak.
There's not really much to announce, but at the moment we are, because this is my last term, as I graduate this semester. We are having a voting at the moment for the next term for the president and the next leadership, role to pass on. That's pretty much it.
Any others? Rhoda and I discovered that we were each at the announcement of the Secretary of Higher Education's plan for the future. We didn't know we were both going to be there, but we were able to get a picture snap with the Gov.
Yes.
Any others? Yes, Jack.
I know you're aware of this, Doctor, but just for the greater community, public safety and security, in cooperation with Rutgers Medical School, will be taking Narcan training this upcoming Monday. And Narcan can be life-saving to reverse an opioid overdose. Once we get this first one under our belt, I've spoken to Dr. Clark, and we're going to explore maybe opening it up to students who may have somebody in their family battling with addiction, etc. So Monday's going to be our kickoff, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, Lori.
Good afternoon. I wanted to let everybody know that Easton Millwork chose their inaugural cohort of apprentices, and they've chosen 5 students, 2 from High Tech, 1 from Jersey City, 1 from Union City, and 1 from Bayonne.
And Lori has put together a really nice presentation, she and John Moreland, that we're going to do about this partnership at the American Association of Community Colleges conference coming up end of this week and early next week. Others? Okay.
For those of you who are not aware, April is National Poetry Month. Happy National Poetry Month. The English and ESL division will be putting on a series of events and other poetry-related things, so just keep your eyes open. We'll post up in the portal. Students, faculty, staff, everyone's welcome.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
I can just stand up. Forgive me. A few months back when we first started, we had a town hall in Union City, and one of the professors spoke about salary, and it was brought up at the Middle States open forum. And this was before we had the VP for Human Resources. So I was wondering if there was any update or anything you could share with us about salary increases or bringing.
Yes, I'd be happy to. So our negotiations are underway. We're gonna, we made progress. Let me back up. So from the time that I started, we made progress wherever we could. So you may remember in November, we made the decision to raise the minimum wage for part-timers to $15. For our non-represented employees who don't, have a CBA that we work within, as we've been able to, we have tried to address some issues of equity. The work now is underway with the large cross-section of our employees who are represented by one of our 4 professional associations. And I think we're farthest along with the professional association just in terms of the meetings that we've been having and the conversations, but this work is underway right now with meetings happening. We're being scheduled with all 4 of our professional associations. Our college team, that is the administrative team at the table, is the same for each of the 4, and that is Vice President Veronica Zeitner, Vivian Ray and Anna Kropitsky, Eric Friedman, and a member of our legal council. Am I needing anybody else? I don't think so. And what I'm comfortable saying to you, what we have been emphasizing in every meeting that we have is our collective desire to make progress, as much progress as we possibly can, in what we hope will be, in all 4 cases, a multiple year contract that has built into it increases that begin to make progress in closing the gap between the salaries we offer and what we know the market offers. We're going to be having a pretty important meeting, I think, on Friday with the PA, where we'll really be talking about some specifics around this. But I can tell you with confidence that certainly speaking for the administration and the board, we want to get as far as we can in these next negotiations. We want to finish these and have an outcome. Our goal is an outcome that all of us can feel good about. In other words, we want everybody to see that we have bargained in good faith to make progress, to make significant progress. What I also will tell you is we won't solve it in this round. We simply, I mean, that's not realistic. We can't solve it, we know that, but we are absolutely committed to making progress. If we can get multiple year contracts, like 3 or 4 more years, then we can, we can see what those steps are going to be in each of the 3 years. They can build on each other. Then the next step, so our goal is let's make progress right now, and you'll soon see it, hopefully, and hopefully I feel good about the fact that we're really true to our word in terms of wanting to do as much as we can. Then the next step, and Anna Kropitsky, as our new Vice President for Human Resources, will be leading this effort, but we are going to want to continue. This is going to be a work in progress for a number of years, and we want to bring in, we want to begin to do a detailed analysis of our salaries at a much more detailed level so that we can begin to pinpoint. We know we have gaps, pervasive gaps, but we want to begin to pinpoint where the specific gaps are, what, some are going to be more acute than others, and use a consultant to help us, to work with us college-wide, to begin to do a longer-term evaluation and plan for making that continued progress on top of the progress we're going to make now, I hope, in the next few weeks. So we're absolutely committed to it. I think it's the number one, I think of it as both a challenge and opportunity facing the college community. And would anyone else like to add to or correct anything I said? Anna?
I just wanted to highlight, I just pulled up my notes from the middle site. I was feverishly taking notes.
There you go.
So as far as some of the recommendations or suggestions, I was actually really happy to hear them because all of those suggestions in some form or other were mentioned to me ever since my search process. And so I do take it as almost a personal accountability to make sure that these things are moving along with the rest of the college community. And I think the emphasis is really on the long-term strategy. Dr. Eva mentioned sort of the round of negotiations that we're hoping to finish now, but that's just the beginning, honestly. And then other efforts that we could take in terms of the long-term strategy, in terms of sustainability, in terms of almost like a financial kind of modeling plan that would involve more of a input from the college community. So it's really taking steps, and I hope that we can essentially build this together with my input, with expertise that we get, with research that we have. So this is really a plan of action that we're just really starting.
So and in addition to the consultant that I've mentioned, who will work with all of us to over time build more pervasive classification systems and infrastructure and policies and procedures, we are Anna's really been charged with now providing leadership to finish a new policy on hiring, recruitment, and retention of employees. Something that we've worked on and discussed together and actually have started kind of testing. We're going to bring this to fruition so that there's a clear policy for consistent adherence to practices that are both best practice and that ensure inclusivity and equity and that help define things like composition of screening committees to ensure that there's cross-representation on them, clear and consistent roles and responsibilities of screening committees, hiring managers, the president, the board, etc. We're going to be bringing clarity to what is the difference between promotion and reclassification that we know is something that's confusing to many. And so that's going to be a really important document. Another thing that she'll be leading us toward is bringing all of our policies and procedures into one place. They're currently kind of all over the place, and what we want to do is have them in one public location. I don't know what that is. One location and on the website, totally transparent, and we want to then also make sure our policies and procedures are correctly aligned with one another so that policies are really approved by the board. This is also an area of confusion that I discovered here. Policies are fundamentally approved by the board. They set overarching, direction for the college. They are broad policies, and then procedures are developed by the administration to enact the policies. And so for every policy, there should be numerous procedures actually numbered so that it's clear what procedures relate to what policy. We're going to be pulling all that together and then developing a system for regular periodic review and updating of policies and procedures with full transparency so that we'll actually probably develop something like a 5-year schedule with point people responsible for every policy and procedure, making sure it's reviewed on some cyclical basis, and then also seeking input from organizations like the Old College Council as we seek to refine and improve. So that's a big body of work that I just mentioned, but I think really important, and so we look forward to your leadership in those initiatives. Yeah.
So with regard to the policies and procedure, so we started really just, I emailed people asking them to send me policies and procedures that they already have. But I think that a somewhat intentional exercise of this is for each area to really recognize what you have, what you don't have, what you maybe should have, or maybe something that you have that's really old that you need to update. So I'm looking forward to those conversations. That actually is one of my strengths in terms of my experience in my past couple of lives. So even in my own area in human resources, I'm having my staff already take a look at, okay, we're doing this, but is it written down? Can we just start writing it down? Can we start having a step-by-step as to what we do? I think this is a way to, first of all, to document things, making sure that we have plans in place, but it's another opportunity to look at, well, does this really make sense? Is there a better way of doing things? So this was somewhat of an intentional side effect to that exercise, so I hope you take advantage of that as well.
Others? I went to the Phi Theta Kappa conference. I mentioned this to several of you, but I was amazed at one of the speakers. Has anyone ever heard of Mel Robbins? Has anybody familiar with Mel Robbins? Okay, I hadn't been either. Well, she's developed this incredible, this really fascinating paradigm that she calls 5-4-3-2-1. So, and the students, she got a standing ovation for this. I just want to share it with you, because then I bring it back to what we're doing. So, She shared with the 4,000 students who were at this conference that she and her family were at a low moment back in, I think, '08. Her husband ran a restaurant. The restaurant was losing money. They were going to lose their house. She concurrently lost her job. They were under such stress, they were divorcing. They were going to take the house in 8 days or something like that. She had reverted to alcohol use and abuse. And she wasn't getting up in the morning. And the alarm would ring, she'd press the snooze button, just keep doing this all day. And she said, I was laying there and I thought to myself, I've got to get up. I have to do what I can and turn this into something positive. And the only way that's going to happen is if I get up. So she decided she was going to count down from 5. She said to herself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she hopped out of bed. And she and her husband started using this, and they were recognizing that we keep talking ourselves into not taking actions that we know we need to take and rationalizing that. And we're going to start, as we're approaching all these challenges, just counting from 5 to 1 and doing it, not thinking about it, just doing it. And I'm thinking at this point, okay, this is kind of common sense, right? This went viral. Not only, first of all, in their personal situation, eventually this gave them some sort of construct to begin to address these issues, and today it's a great success story. The restaurant's been saved and all the rest of it, but she shared this in social media and it went viral, and now there have been physiological studies done that basically are verifying that this particular idea is a strategy that's helped many people, and there are all kinds of testimonials about it, as sort of a construct for not putting off something that they know they need to do, and for not letting themselves talk themselves out of it. And she even talked about the importance of this, and when we're in meetings, we may be sitting there thinking we have a good idea, but I better not share it. Maybe it will sound stupid, or somebody will criticize it. And she said, just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and say it, because in all likelihood, it's a good idea. And I was amazed by the end of the presentation. She showed the comments she had gotten from throughout the world about how some people attributed it to saving their lives, and companies are using it as sort of an organizational principle and such. And now she is going to have her own daily talk show on TV, and she's written books and all the rest of it. It made me think about the fact that when we have meetings like this, or when we're working together in groups, I hope we will have a comfort level where we can feel comfortable sharing, not just good news, but everything, concerns, what have you. I'm hoping we're getting to that point where we trust one another, we recognize every person matters, every person's ideas are valued, so we want to hear them. So, yes, Vivian. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a number thing. There's a book by Susie Welch called 10-10-10, and she talks about all the changes you make in your life when you're kind of stuck between, do I do this or not do it? What's the reaction going to be, and what the result would be in 10 minutes, 10 months, or 10 years? And use that as a way of thinking about how would this change impact my life. So Susie Welch 10-10-10 is also a fabulous book.
Welch, W-E-L-C.
Other comments or questions, or concerns, or ideas? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Actually, always wanted to ask about the new student center. I always wanted to ask about the new student center, and I want to know what's updated, like update information, and how long it's gonna take, because as I was informed that continuing education workforce development is gonna be in that building, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
We're not gonna be there.
You're talking about.
Oh wait.
Totally different.
Okay. I'm
In the
talking about the
tower.
tower.
Yes.
Updates on that.
You are going to be there. Yeah.
What's the update on that, and how it's gonna, like, what's the plan, and what's gonna be, and when?
Okay, I'll start and then I'll invite others. First on the student center, that's
What's about it?
right next to the library. That's a building we own that we vacated last year and are now totally renovating.
Where's the tower gonna be then?
So that's the student center. Just to comment on that. Our plan and still our goal is that that will be finished in time to open next January at the start of the spring semester 2020. It got off to a late start through no fault of ours, through like permitting issues and such. But it's now underway, so whether we can make up enough of the lost time in the late start to have it open by January 2020 or not is yet to be seen. But it's going to be finished in earnest and in use by next spring. And that will house lounge space, student organization, office space, meeting space. There will be a really nice food service there with hot and cold items, and there will also be a command center for the college that will actually be visible from the street, where our public safety and security officers and staff will be located, and they'll be located on the mezzanine of that building as well. The lower level will be a space for all of our physical plant staff, which is badly needed, and really nice spaces for performances, speakers, cultural events, etc. So that's all under construction and should be actually something we're using sometime next spring. The tower is a project that has been under development and in the planning stage for quite some time. It's the vision for it and the plan that has recently the plan has been completed, although we recognize that between now and whenever this building gets constructed, there may be changing circumstances that require us to continue to tweak the plan. But as the plan exists right now, it would house active learning classrooms, labs, state-of-the-art technology. We would have faculty and staff office space there. Very importantly, a full gymnasium and wellness center that will allow us to begin an athletic program here, probably starting with basketball and then going from there, which is something that so many people have championed in my conversation since I've been here. And it will house the Center for Business, Industry, Workforce Development, whatever we're going to call that. All the stuff that Dean Margolan and others are doing will be in one visible location, corporate training. And then there's also, in the plans, a very useful and attractive university center where we would invite all of our university partners to locate their upper division degree completion courses in one place, co-inhabited by all of our partners, so that our students can systematically complete four-year degrees in one place on this campus. We're doing this in some cases right now, like NJCU is offering their BSN program right here, and I think Fairleigh Dickinson's offering their culinary program here. This will be a space where all that is together. Staff from those partner institutions will be available. It'll be a one-stop shop for baccalaureate programming on this campus through partnerships. And I'm going to ask in a moment if I know I'm leaving some pieces out of that. It's planned to be constructed. What is the site? It's the site next to the J building. Am I remembering that correctly?
2 Enos parking lot.
2 Enos. I'm sorry.
2 Enos parking lot.
The 2 Enos parking lot that we currently operate would be the site of it. It would be 10 stories. It's a pretty limited site, so we have to build up in order to accommodate all the programming, and the plan would also very importantly relocate everything at 70 SIP right now, as well as 162 and 168. All that would be relocated into this new tower. And then those buildings would be sold to help pay for it, and which is a cycle we've been doing, which is very important, and we talked about it at length with Middle States. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to, I'm guessing, 5 years, and I could be very wrong on either end, but probably about 5 years. But I will tell you, I have confidence it's going to happen. The planning really has pretty much been completed, so it's really essentially shovel ready right now, and it's really a question of when we can get all of the resources lined up to build it. through partnerships, through Chapter 12 funding that we can receive from the state. So it's going to be built when the funds are available, however that long takes us. But we have strong board support to follow through on it. The city recently has been very helpful. They removed a deed restriction on that site that would have precluded our building it there, that they've taken that action in support of this. Is there anything that I'm missing that anyone would want to add to that? It'll be a great, great, great addition to the campus when that happens. Others, these are good questions.
I just wanted to say, please don't forget about us in 119 Newkirk. It's
Yeah.
a small building, it's an old building. It's perhaps the only building that doesn't have a leaking roof, but there's chock full of faculty. We have faculty 6 to an office and basement offices, tiny, tiny office for a huge division, so just don't forget us.
You know, I think, am I correct, Aaliyah, that those folks would also be accommodated in the tower?
They go into town.
The tower would also accommodate folks there. The question is, do we keep the facility? I think the master plan has us not keeping it, but Dr. Friedman has really been advocating that we do keep it. That it might be a future space for art studios or things like that. And I think that's going to be completely up to us if we want to keep it or not. And if the roof's not leaking, why not? Any others? Yeah.
So speaking of the new building and new classrooms, the technology committee has been thinking about what kind of technology should be inside of classrooms. If we need interactive projectors, smart boards, projectors. A survey is going to be coming out in the next few days for faculty. So if you are an instructor, please take the survey, and hopefully that'll help us make good recommendations for what kind of technology should go into these classrooms.
Yeah.
I think I can talk loud enough. 2 announcements. We are currently, from here, when we leave today, we're going to go upstairs for Karamo Bell, who is on on Netflix. So that's going to be happening after this. And tomorrow is our employee scholarship lunch.
Thank you.
So remember, you have already received the payroll deduction form. Yeah, and we'll send that out again. There are going to be some wonderful, wonderful raffles. It's tomorrow from 12:30 to 2 on the 6th floor atrium of the library. You can also see me. I have raffle tickets for the Big Basket from Amazon, and a couple of us, other of us, have raffle tickets as well. So. Oh, Lalisa has, and you know, we have a little competition going on. So, so please join us. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to contribute back to our students. Again, one of the things that we are continually doing, trying to make sure that we address the whole student. So.
Excellent. Any others?